Cassie Unscrewed Theater, sir.
Hi, Aaron.
Welcome
it's so
again.
good to be here.
All right, good to have you here as well. Also, a reminder to please support our sponsors. So, if you are looking for top quality auto repairs that exceed your expectations, look no further than Perfection Auto Works. The team of expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works takes pride in getting the job done right the first time, with a level of workmanship that ensures perfection in every job. From routine maintenance to major repairs, Perfection Auto Works aims to surpass their customers' expectations. Visit Perfection Auto Works to experience why they are the trusted name in auto repair. Call 323-8650 or visit perfectionautoworks.com. Perfection Auto Works, where perfection is not just a word, it's their commitment. And remember, if you like the Computer Doctor Show, please support our sponsors. We have some technology news, so we're going to get into our rapid tech news reports right now. So our long-beloved Google is still in action, but apparently there is a new Google search engine that is about to be released, and I don't know if I'm still in the waiting period of when Google is actually letting people try it out, test it out. In your world, have you been able to get inside with that?
I haven't had the chance to play with Google's yet. I do have access to the Microsoft AI-assisted search engine. And of course, we've all played with ChatGPT at this point.
Yeah, most people have. So this experimental version of search engine, it integrates artificial intelligence and answers directly into the results. And it's supposed to be pulling information from websites, which is something that ChatGPT does not do currently. It only has an index that goes back to 2021. But it would be very nice to have a ChatGPT like service that actually does things live, and you can actually poll it and parse it for recent events or recent information.
Interesting.
So that's what it kind of suggests that it can do. I don't know how real that is.
Okay. And it's still unfortunately going to have that. Well, I don't know if you want to call it the 7-second delay or whatever, where people have to go through the information and vet it for offensive content or things like that. Because you don't want your AI answering back with horrible things that we know are all on the internet.
Exactly. So, there's lots of regulations, and as we discussed in previous episodes, the United States, and there's about 7 different agencies within the federal government that are trying to find ways. Right now, they're still exploring the possibilities and where to make these junctions and regulations for the future. So that's still in the works. So it's only available to, again, Google is launching a new search engine. It's only limited. It's only going to be available to a limited number of people in the United States, in English only. But if you'd like to be one of those people, you can always join the wait list for Google Labs. Also, Elon Musk's company Neuralink gets a FDA approval for human brain implants. I don't know if this excites anyone, but they've been using pigs and birds and monkeys and everything else. So now the FDA has now approved these things for humans because it is safe, apparently.
Okay, just because it's safe doesn't mean it's a good idea to start putting stuff in your brain.
Not all things are advantageous, exactly.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, what kind of implants are we talking about, and what are they doing?
Things that read your mind, basically. And they are... there are benefits because you can now, especially for accessibility patients, people that can't move, people that can't speak, now you have a machine that can just read your mind and just verbally tell off your thoughts.
Okay, and see, if I was, paralyzed or something like that, that would be fantastic.
I would love a machine like that.
Yeah, I just think maybe not for most of us yet, but that's awesome. Okay, so
go make me a peanut butter jelly sandwich. All I have to do is just think about it.
Right.
Just think about a chicken dinner, and somebody's going to know about it.
I'm really curious to see how well those are going to work. It's. You want that chicken dinner and the implants has steak instead, and you're like, wait, no, that's not what I meant. How nuanced are these things?
Exactly. So I'm sure somebody's already thought of these things. A couple of bozos on the radio. If we're able to think about these things, I'm sure some smart engineer somewhere else has also thought about it. Talking about communication, WhatsApp now allows you to edit messages after you send it. So all of these corrective. I think we've all been sending a text message and we missed a word, and then the next text we have to correct the text from the previous.
Yeah.
So apparently, if this is coming to WhatsApp now, some of you may already have this feature. So basically, if you long press the message that you just sent, it'll pop up with a message of what you can do with that, and one of those features is edit. However, you can only edit within 15 minutes of you sending it. So if you've sent it more than 15 minutes ago, you can no longer edit it, but you can still do it if it's within 15 minutes. So that's a nice little feature for WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Also, Customer Affairs is reporting had reported fake Mother's Day and Father's Day shopping websites. And so Mother's Day just passed. Father's Day is right around the corner in a couple weeks. And when people think about their mothers and they think about their fathers, they want to buy them something nice, flowers, power tools for the fathers, things like that. So let's say you go to a website, you're looking for something for your dad, and you go to power tools or something like that, and you'll see an advertisement. Hey, power tools or a wrench set or something, or ties or whatever.
And of course, it'll be a screaming deal because that'll get your attention.
Right. They want to get your attention for the price. So what you do, you click on this thing. Now, it's not going to be an Amazon. It's not going to be a Walmart. It's not going to be any website that you ever heard of before. But it's going to look legit. It's going to have the graphics. It's going to have the pictures. It's going to have all the copyright details at the bottom. It's going to look like a really, really professional site.
And you realize it says harborfruit.com.
Right, but it'll be at a website that you've never seen before, or something that you're not familiar with. So now you're at this position where you say, okay, should I try this? And I've actually had to do that. I was trying to buy tires for my car, and I saw this amazing deal.
Right.
I was like, but I've never heard of this company before. But I went ahead and went for it. I said, yep, this is too good of a deal. Let me go ahead and just buy these tires, right?
And it turned out to be a scam?
It turned out to be a scam, but you know what? The tires never came, and I just called the credit card company. They canceled. They didn't even ask me questions about it, because apparently this particular vendor, they must have had a known problem.
So they canceled. Did they send you a new credit card immediately?
They did. They did, and obviously, I never got the tires, but here's the thing: they still collected billing information. They still asked you to create a username and password, and if it's going to username and password to mischievous people, then they can probably use that same username and password on other popular sites that you might be using that same username and password for.
That's something to be very wary of. That if you reuse your passwords, so that's why.
And then I get these phone calls when people say, "Oh, my bank account was compromised. Somebody got somebody's in my computer." No, you gave it away.
You gave them your password on another site, and sometimes you don't even have to give it away. Perfectly legitimate sites get cracked all the time.
Sure.
And the one that you got on that required a username and password that didn't have good security because it probably didn't need it. It was just an account for something silly. But if you reuse that, they got it. So,
and in some cases, it can be as silly as your coffee maker giving up your Wi-Fi password.
Exactly, stuff like that. Well, we know IoT devices have historically terrible security.
There we go. Be aware of that. Talking about security, Netflix is cracking down on password sharing. So I think lots of people are guilty of this. It's estimated that there's more than 100 million households that worldwide that share an account.
Right.
So that brother or that cousin or that family member that never has any money but still needs to stream movies to their house, but don't have the $10 to get an account on their own.
Yeah, it's not even a doesn't have money thing. I'm pretty sure everybody buys 2 subscriptions to a streaming service, and then you share those and borrow the rest from your friends. That's just the new system.
Otherwise, every person would have to have like 5 and 6 streaming services.
Yeah, I've got.
I mean, we got
personally,
Netflix.
I've got Hulu and Amazon.
Yep.
And Disney Plus. I share my Disney Plus. I've got Netflix from my brother-in-law. I've got Hulu from him. We're all sharing this
Yeah.
stuff.
Paramount. We ended up getting Paramount because there's some shows on there that are just not on other streaming services.
Right.
If we like a show, we have to practically buy the entire streaming service that's the only show that it comes
exactly.
on.
Well, it's the problem is Netflix found a way to basically make a better system than cable, and then all the big corporations got into it, and they just remade cable. That's all. We have cable again.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but instead of it coming through a cable. Actually, it still is coming through the cable in some cases.
It is. You still have to
It's
buy
just
your
coming
cable
through the
internet,
internet,
and then
exactly.
now there's 15 different channels that are now streaming
All right, we'll just
services.
say that the whole media thing is just a bunch of big crooks. That's what they are. Okay.
It's just capitalism.
It's the time to take our midway commercial break with a word from our sponsors. Up next, science and tech history from this week, and more rapid tech reports, including the Surgeon General issuing a warning about kids and social media. This is the Computer Doctor Show. We'll be right back.
Son, I'm glad you're here with me. I'm going to take you to a place that you will never forget. It's Mount Rushmore, and we're almost there.
Whoa!
Can you believe this? Everything you see on that mountain is American ingenuity. One man had a vision to do this, and that just goes to prove that even things that seem impossible can be achieved.
Awesome!
Son, on the way home, let's stop at the gift shop. Pick out a few postcards. Oh, and don't forget to get an extra one.
Who is this one for?
That one's for Perfection Auto Works. Because of their expert car repair, we got here trouble-free.
That's so cool.
Son, very few things can be labeled perfection, and you're one of them.
There's nothing like the bonding of father and son, especially on a cool road trip. This summer, make sure perfection is part of your vacation travel plans. 323-8650 and perfectionautoworks.com.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with David, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Before we get into the next segment, David, what can you tell us about the Unscrewed Theater?
Well, I can tell you tonight we're having a 2-show evening. Our, of course, family-friendly show that's every Saturday at 7:30, and our uncensored show at 9 o'clock, if you like a little bit more adult humor and topics in your improv. And, of course, if you have seen a show at Unscrewed Theater and seen how much fun it is to be on stage doing that, you can do it too. We've got improv basics classes starting on June 3rd. So get in there and sign up right now and try out some improv in your life. You'll find it benefits you not just on stage, but in a lot of aspects of your life.
I improvise a radio show every week.
Exactly. So
this show is completely unedited, unscripted. It's just the opinions. So, but hey, if you want to learn how to do that in a more fun way, go ahead and check out the Unscrewed Theater website, unscrewedtheater.org. It is, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go back in time, look at some science and tech history. So you have the list there, David. Why don't you give us that first one?
I do. All right. 46 years ago, something happened that is very near and dear to my heart. May 25th, 1977, the first Star Wars movie
Hit the theaters.
Yeah.
Yes. I was not around at that time.
Nor was I.
Okay, but I believe that it was, and it was episode 4, obviously. So here's some interesting facts about that. George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, was originally wanted to adapt the Flash Gordon, but he couldn't acquire the rights. So he decided to create his own fantasy space saga.
Right.
Okay, and that's where Star Wars was born. So the phrase, "I have a bad feeling about this," is a recurring line in every Star Wars movie,
Of
I
course.
believe.
I remember most of them.
Yeah, I have a bad
Han
feeling.
Solo said it. Obi-Wan has said it.
Oh, even those side story, the
Yeah.
Star Wars stories, I think all of them have some. I have a bad feel. I think even
And-
the Mandalorian even had a.
Oh,
I have
I'm
a bad
sure.
feeling
And
about
and
this
most of them also have. There's a fun little audio Easter
Mm-hmm.
egg you can find called the Wilhelm scream,
Mm.
which was in an early George Lucas film, and it pops up all over in different movies, but it's a very distinctive like sort of scream that somebody did in some early movie he did. It was
And they
ridiculous.
just put that soundtrack
but they
somewhere.
popped it into all of these
All the
different
movies.
movies,
Oh,
and you'll hear it
okay.
in most of the Star Wars films
Oh,
at some
okay.
point.
Oh, very very interesting.
Yeah, Google that. It's fun.
Now, the Star Wars franchise grossed billions of dollars worldwide, making it the most highest grossing media franchises of all time. So I was able to research there are 3 franchises that are above Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Star Wars would be number 4. Mickey Mouse and Friends is above Star. Okay, wait, let me give you the numbers. Star Wars 51.8 billion approximately of its entire life
Right.
span of the franchise. Mickey Mouse and Friends just 1 more billion, just a tad. I mean, what's 1 billion more? You know, so it's
I mean,
52 billion.
It's all the same to Disney, who owns both.
Yeah, exactly. They own number 3 and 4. Second on the list, Hello Kitty,
Yeah.
80 billion for that franchise. I guess all the lunch boxes and all the
Right.
backpacks and stuff like that.
I don't think it ever hit America as big, but in
Yeah,
Japan,
it's
absolutely
Yeah, it's
massive.
everywhere. It's everywhere. It's like. The
And
president.
speaking of Japan, number 1 on the list.
Pokemon.
Yes.
Pokemon, 76.4 billion to 100 billion, depending on what your sources are. So Pokemon, man.
Pokemon's been a big part of my
I-
life. I remember the first game came out; it blew my mind.
I don't think I've ever bought anything Pokemon related. I maybe have held maybe a few of the cards. I saw
Yeah.
them being traded a little bit.
I think if you grew up when I did, it was real big.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look at that time. We're
Are we running out?
oh my goodness! Hey, is this the correct time? Oh, that's the actual time. I thought that was the countdown clock. Okay, what else do we have for the history? Tech history?
Alrighty, we've got 86 years ago, May 28th, 1937, Volkswagen was founded.
Volkswagen, yes, the iconic VW Beetle, officially known as Volkswagen Type 1. That was the Volkswagen Bug. I actually owned one.
Nice.
Everyone has like a Volkswagen Bug story with what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've
Yeah.
experienced, or what they've ridden one. Everyone's has one. And then there is the Type 2, the 1960s Volkswagen Type 2, popularly known as the VW Bus, or
Right.
the VW Mini Microbus. Okay, so it became an iconic symbol of the counterculture movement and remains a beloved symbol of freedom and adventure.
Yeah,
So,
I've never ridden in a microbus, but I've definitely been in a VW Bug. I know people gravitate towards them because they're one of the easiest cars to service.
yes, absolutely. And as legend has it, well, it's not even a legend. This is actually fact. That back in the 60s, it was not very uncommon to see someone on the side of the road with their VW Bug and actually have the engine out,
Right.
servicing it.
Yeah.
Like you can just drop the engine like in the middle of the road,
And
using
fix
hand
it on
tools.
the side of the road.
fix it
and
on the side,
pop it back
and
in
then
there.
pop the engine back in.
Yeah.
I mean, who does it?
I think it's just the
Modern
ultimate
cars-
DIY car.
Modern cars today, there are some cars out there where you actually have to remove the complete front end
Mm-hmm.
just to replace like the headlight or something. You know,
See,
and
that's
it's-
ridiculous.
It is.
Like I replaced my own. I am not a car guy, but I replaced my own headlights. Like I can do the basic little things.
Exactly.
But if I had to take the whole front end off, then yeah.
86 years ago, there, Volkswagen. All right, congratulations with that. Some rapid tech reports. The FBI warns of a false job advertisements. Something that similar to what we were talking about before about fake websites. So there's fake shopping websites, but then there's also fake job opportunity, career and websites. And what they do is they advertise on Facebook and social media. They advertise on legitimate job-seeking websites like
Of course.
Indeed or Monster. You know, these websites where people go to find legitimate jobs, but inside of those job listings, there are these jobs that pay a lot of money
Right.
to again attract their victims, and then you start signing on, and then the job starts getting very, very strange. They ask you for information up front. There's no interview. There's all kinds of difficulties of what's happening in their company, and there's a whole lot of things that just don't make sense.
Right.
So you have to be aware of these. You want to make sure that you're researching the advertised companies before accepting a job offer. You want to be aware of job advertisements with unusually high salaries and many perks. And if you plan on relocating to a different country for a new job, inform family and friends of employment details to include contact information
Absolutely.
from the job advertisement. That is what the FBI is suggesting.
Just one of those things where if anything ever seems too good to be true, it probably is.
There we go. We have a caller on line 1, Mark. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show. We can give you about 30 seconds.
Okay, thanks for your show. You need more time.
Yes, sir.
And so as far as the Volkswagen goes, I believe Joseph Gantz created the Volkswagen, built
Yes.
it, tested it out, and
It was
I don't know if you
stolen.
mentioned that.
It was
It
stolen.
was stolen by the Nazis,
It was.
and he was exiled and died
Yes.
broken.
Well, thank
Hearted
you.
and all that. But
Thank you very
yeah.
much for sharing that tidbit. I kind of left that out because I didn't want to, I don't want to be, I don't want to be one of those radio type show hosts that says all those scary things. But thank you very much for your call, Mark. Appreciate it. Appreciate your
Okay,
support
thanks.
as well.
Bye.
One more quick story before we close. The Surgeon General has issued a warning about kids on social media. Now, this is very interesting because the U.S. Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, is the same source that has told us about the dangers of cigarettes, and they're now telling us about the dangers of kids and social media. So really something very, very much to take to heart. Before we wrap up, I just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works, again for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location at Speedway in Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. And as always, don't click unverified links in emails or text messages. Use a password manager. Always look at the address bar. Check activity on your bank statements on a regular basis. Enable two-factor authentication. Verify all incoming and outgoing calls. Back up your system to the cloud and listen to the Computer Doctor Show live on Saturdays and post it as podcasts on Tuesdays. If you missed any part of this episode, go to computerdoctorshow.com, click episodes, and find episode 132. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. David co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.